It really has divided the nation. On the one hand, we've got those who look at this from a humanitarian point of view and saying that while some are perhaps economic migrants, there are people who are refugees from war-torn countries coming here who need a new place in which to live. But then, on the other hand, they're also facing hostility from another part of the community, which says, what are they doing, with the millions that the government, something like 10 million a day, isn't it, being spent on accommodation for them, taking up hotel rooms in those areas where perhaps the hotels are needed because the tourism is a very important part of the local economy. And when we have a major financial crisis here at home, what are we doing spending on these people? I mean, the nation is totally divided on this, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And I couldn't agree more. The money that we're spending on hotels, we shouldn't be, and we shouldn't have to. That's down to a backlog. We've been fighting for the right for people to have the right to work after 6 months of being here, which would eliminate the need for the use of hotels. It would drastically reduce the asylum support bill almost overnight, and it would put back around 100 million into the British economy through tax revenues and national insurance contributions. But the government won't even entertain that idea, which makes me, question whether or not the government actually have the people's best interests at heart.
Bear in mind that 90% of arrivals at the Kent coast don't have passports or documentation. And the vast majority, well, all of them come from a safe country called France. What right do they have to work after 6 months when we don't even know who they are or their criminal backgrounds or where they come from, what their circumstances are? And that also would then suppress wages for many working class people in Britain at the more unskilled end of the labour market. What would you say about that accusation?
Well, I don't think the wage argument is fair. We're in a skills shortage in a lot of areas in the UK, so there's certainly vacancies there for people to fill. And as for the people coming here without travel documents, it is well documented that in times of war, conflict, and unrest around the world, you can't always go and get a passport or a travel document. And international law does recognise the need for people to take irregular routes to reach safety. And there is, of course, absolutely no legal obligation for anybody to stay in a so-called safe third country or any particular country for that matter. People can claim asylum in any safe in any country that is party to the 1951 Refugee Convention.
I'm not sure that stacks up, though, with the greatest respect. When you look at where the country of arrival, of origin, beg your pardon, is from, Albania is a safe country. There's no war there. Iraq, Iran, the vast majority of people come into the UK are not coming from war-torn countries and do have passports. And there are also widespread accusations, of course, the best thing to do is just dispose of your passport because that will aid your refugee status once you arrive. The system is being gamed, isn't it, in some cases?
I think it's a very, very small minority of people who, as you say, game the system. These are very dangerous crossings, dangerous journeys that people are taking. And, for the average person, they wouldn't even think about getting into these boats unless they had absolutely no choice. If we were to open safe legal routes, which the right and left, however you sit on this argument, we're all fighting for the same thing at the moment, which is a safe legal alternative to the small boat crossings. Because at the moment, there's no mechanism to accept people that have a right to be here and a legitimate claim to asylum. There's no legal safe way for them to get here. There's no sole way to come into the UK with the sole purpose of claiming asylum. There is no way. You have to be on British soil before you can start your claim. So unless we give people a safe legal option to get here, they have no choice but to make these small boat crossings. If we give people a way to start their claim at an embassy, online, or another safe legal route, then the people trying to sneak in the back door, if you will, would stand out, and we would be able to manage that so much more. The few people that tried to do that would stand out. And the people, which is around 75% at initial decision, more on appeal, who get their status when they get here and they're found to have a legitimate claim, could be brought here safely.